Chapter 2. Roots that Drift. Shelter is not silence, only its mercy, borrowed for a time. Old saying from the last grove. I was not meant to wake. Not like this. The right was broken, not by accident, but by sorrow. A last offering from a man who knew the price. His carving was wrong in the way only love makes things wrong. Not a chain, not a prison, a door, and in opening it, he ceased. I did not rise with thunder or howl. I did not tear the sky or scatter birds from their trees. I returned in silence, in salt, in the slow curl of mist drawn into the bay like breath into cupped hands. When I woke, the camp was already built, from what once was my body. Beams, sailcloth, joints softened by fire. I recognized myself in their shelter. I felt the tension in every timber, the memory of my limbs reshaped into corners and posts, and I felt the child. He does not remember what I was. He knows only that he once slept safe at my roots, that I had shade enough to hide him from the world. But memory clings to shape more than name, and sometimes I see him pause, not out of recognition, but comfort. He leans against the mast. He whispers to himself near the fire, tracing lines into the dirt with a stick. And I listen. I do not breathe, but I remember breath. I do not speak, but I remember sound. I do not sleep, but I remember the weight of rest. In this place, beneath the woven sails and sharpened bones of my former self, I remember all things. I gather them. The bay is crescent-shaped, wrapped in tall stone cliffs that hush the waves. It has two mouths, one to the sea, where they arrived, and one inland, a cave, narrow and old, where the light bends. I have drawn this bay into slumber, not through force, not like the marks of domination etched in ancient times. This sleep is woven from what I remember. Wind through my leaves, rain coiling down bark, the hush of a child's breath tugged against my roots. The sand rests, the stones echo gently, the tide slows. The voices of the land, the small ones, moss, air, fern, dew, quiet themselves for me. But it will not last. Beyond the cliffs, the island breathes with teeth. It is not angry, it is wild, awake, still unbroken by fire, war, or name. There are presences in that forest I have not touched, not even when my roots were deep. They are older than flame, untouched by war or glyph, wild, unnamed, and watching. Yig, the first tree, the one who remembered first and struck back. I do not say her name aloud in the currents of thought. Not here, not now. The mother works during the day, quiet, always moving, tying and folding, mending the sailcloth that once caught wind on the sea. Her hands do not tremble. Her voice hums low, even when she believes she is alone. She does not speak to me, but her grief tastes of ash and salt. She laid the father's body in the earth by the tree's edge, where my roots once clung. She marked the spot with stone, then with silence. He had no weapon, no grave offerings, only the weight of what he gave. They do not speak of it, but the land remembers. Even the rocks here, slow, old, unmoving, murmur at his passing. The wind, when it passes through the cove, lowers its pitch. The fire in their pit never cracks loudly. It is mourning in its own way. The boy does not understand. He builds things from driftwood, towers and walls. He knocks them over. He waits to see if they'll rise again. He laughs sometimes, but he's always looking toward the cave. He feels it. The restlessness, the wakefulness just beyond. And I do too. The cave has not spoken to me. That alone is warning. I stretch my sense there sometimes, a memory of roots reaching through the soil, a thought sent like sap. But I find nothing soft, nothing still. The cave drinks silence without return. Sometimes, in stillness, I remember the times before the ship. I remember when I stood tall in the marsh, my limbs touching air and soil alike. When I heard the breathing of the world, each gust of wind another voice. Sometimes I recall the feeling of my roots in water, how the swamp knew secrets long before the village dared to speak them. There were other trees then, not like me, not yet awake, not yet scarred by humans. But they watched, and they grew. Some are still growing. And somewhere beyond the island, beyond even the sleeping waves, Ig still dreams. Her branches move in storms unseen. I wonder if she hears me. I wonder if she forgives. This bay is a cradle, but it is also a threshold. One day, the boy will cross it. One day, the island will reach back. He will meet what I cannot shield. He will know hunger and shadow, and he will learn to name the silence by the sound it lacks. I cannot stop that, but I can remember further. I can remember what grows in fire, what sleeps beneath stone, what was buried not in soil but in choice. I feel it sometimes, the wind pressing harder at the cave mouth, the ground refusing to grow moss near its edge. The birds never land there. Even the stars do not linger overhead. The mother watches too. She says nothing, but she keeps her back to the dark. She wakes before the boy. Her eyes are tired. Her fingers stay near the ash. She fears what I do. She remembers too much. And still, she builds. She is planning for the day I can no longer protect them. I was once a shelter. I am again, but I will not be for long. Let them rest. Let him grow. Let the silence be shelter while it can still hold. Let the island forget until it remembers again.